I want to talk to you about something so fundamental to your future that it deserves your complete attention. The next 5 years of your life will be determined by 5 crucial decisions you make starting today. You know, I've observed something fascinating about life. Some people experience 5 years of progress, while others experience 1 year of progress, repeated 5 times. What's the difference? Decisions. Not conditions, not circumstances, decisions. The question isn't whether you'll make these decisions. You will, either by default or by design. The question is, will you make them consciously? Will you take the wheel? Or will you be a passenger in your own life? I was 25 years old when I met my mentor, Mr. Schoaf. He asked me a question I'll never forget. He said, "Jim, how are you doing?" I said, "I'm doing fine." He said, No, I mean, how are you really doing?" I started to mumble some excuses about the economy, taxes, my boss. He interrupted me and said, "Mr. Rohn, you need to understand this. For things to change, you have to change. For things to get better, you have to get better." That single conversation altered the course of my life because it forced me to make a decision. And that's what I'm offering you today. The opportunity to make 5 decisions that will transform the next 5 years of your life. Now, why 5 years? Because it's enough time to see remarkable change, yet short enough to maintain urgency. You can completely reinvent yourself in 5 years. You can transform your health, your wealth, your relationships, your career, everything. But it begins with decisions. Most people overestimate what they can accomplish in a year, but drastically underestimate what they can achieve in 5 years with consistent, daily action stemming from the right decisions. What's fascinating about decisions is they cost nothing to make, but the right ones can pay dividends for a lifetime. The wrong ones can extract a toll for just as long. The problem is many people treat significant life decisions with less care than they give to choosing a restaurant for dinner. Indecision is one of life's greatest thieves. It paralyzes progress and creates a breeding ground for excuses. Some people spend more time planning a 2-week vacation than they do planning their life. And then they wonder why those 2 weeks are more satisfying than the other 50 weeks of their year. I've seen this pattern play out countless times. A person will say, "I'll get serious about my future someday." Then 5 years pass, and they're still saying, "Someday." Meanwhile, someone else makes a firm decision, takes consistent action, and 5 years later, they're living in a different world. The difference isn't intelligence, talent, or opportunity, it's decision. When I was poor, I used to blame everything outside myself. The government, the economy, my employer, my background. But when I discovered the power of personal decision, everything changed. I realized that while I couldn't control external events, I could control my response to them. I could decide how I would think, act, and develop. And those decisions would largely determine my outcome. Here's something crucial to understand. Decisions precede actions. Actions precede results. If you want different results in your life, you must start with different decisions. And remember this, a decision isn't real until it changes your behavior. Many people confuse interest with decision. Interest reads a book, decision applies the book. Interest wants to start a business, decision files the paperwork, opens the doors, and works through the challenges. The word decision comes from Latin meaning to cut off. When you truly decide, you cut off all other possibilities. There's no plan B. There's no safety net. There's just your committed choice and the actions that follow. So let me ask you, what could your life look like 5 years from now if you made 5 fundamental decisions and stuck with them regardless of mood, circumstance, or temporary failure? Could you transform your health, your career, your finances, your relationships, your happiness? The answer is an emphatic yes, but it starts with decision. Some decisions create incremental change, but the 5 I'm about to share with you create exponential change. They're the kind that alter trajectories, not just speeds. They don't just improve your life, they fundamentally transform it. What makes these decisions so powerful is that they affect virtually every area of your life simultaneously. They're the dominoes that, when tipped, cause dozens of others to fall in your favor. Before I share these 5 decisions, I want you to prepare yourself mentally. These aren't casual suggestions to consider when convenient. They're invitations to complete transformation, if you have the courage to accept. They require commitment, discipline, and consistency. The first life-changing decision: take 100% responsibility for everything in your life. This is where it all begins. Until you make this decision, nothing else matters, because without this foundation, you'll always find someone or something to blame for your circumstances. When you take complete responsibility, you move from victim to victor. You shift from reactive to proactive. You reclaim your power. This doesn't mean you blame yourself for every negative circumstance. It means you take responsibility for your response to every circumstance. There's a world of difference. I see people every day who are still blaming their parents for things that happened 30 years ago. I see people blaming the economy, their boss, their spouse, their lack of education. And you know what they all have in common? They're stuck. They're waiting for something outside themselves to change before their lives can improve. Taking responsibility means saying, if it's to be, it's up to me. It means no more excuses, no more blame, no more waiting for perfect conditions. You see, responsibility isn't a burden, it's freedom. When you blame others, you give away your power. You become a prisoner to their actions, their decisions, their inadequacies. But when you take responsibility, you take back that power. You become the author of your story, not just the character in someone else's. I learned this lesson the hard way. For years, I blamed my lack of formal education for my limited income. If only I had a college degree, I'd tell myself. Then one day, I realized something profound. Many people with far less education than I had were far more successful. And many with more education were still struggling. The difference wasn't education. It was personal responsibility. The moment I stopped saying, I can't because, and started saying, how can I, everything shifted. I didn't get a new job or win the lottery, but I got something more valuable: agency. The understanding that while I couldn't control every circumstance, I could control my response to every circumstance. Consider this. 2 people experience the same setback, losing a job. One spends months complaining about the unfairness, the bad timing, the poor management. The other immediately takes responsibility, updating their resume, networking, learning new skills, creating opportunities. Same circumstance, dramatically different responses, and inevitably dramatically different outcomes. So when I made this decision in my own life, everything changed. I stopped expecting my employer to make me successful and started developing myself. I stopped blaming my background for my limitations and started creating a new future despite them. I stopped waiting for opportunities and started creating them. The difference was immediate and profound, not in my circumstances, they took time to change, but in my mindset, my energy, my sense of personal power. The second life-changing decision: commit to lifelong, continuous learning. In today's rapidly changing world, your formal education may get you started, but your self-education will make you successful. What you don't know will hurt you. What you're not learning is costing you money, opportunities, and fulfillment. Formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. I recommend reading at least 30 minutes every day. Not entertainment, but education. Books that build your mind, your skills, your understanding. The average American reads less than 1 book per year after completing their formal education. The average CEO reads 4 or 5 books per month. That's not coincidental. When I was broke, I couldn't afford not to learn. I realized my income would rarely exceed my personal development. So I invested in books, seminars, and mentorship, even when it was financially painful. You must understand this fundamental truth. Your level of success will seldom exceed your level of personal development. Income seldom exceeds personal development. Sometimes income takes a lucky jump, but unless you learn to handle the responsibilities that come with it, it will usually shrink back to the amount you can handle. If you want to earn more, you must learn more. It's that simple. The marketplace pays for value, and you must become more valuable every day through learning. This is why I tell everyone, work harder on yourself than you do on your job. If you work hard on your job, you'll make a living. If you work hard on yourself, you can make a fortune. Most people have this backward. They work hard at their profession but invest little in themselves. Your future is created by what you know and what you can do. Not by wishing, not by hoping, not by wondering or worrying, but by acquiring knowledge and applying it consistently. I remember meeting a young man who complained about his salary. He said, I've been working at this company for 5 years, but I'm still not making what I'm worth. I asked him, are you the same person who started 5 years ago? Have you increased your knowledge? Have you improved your skills? Have you become more valuable? He hadn't thought about these questions before. You see, most people want to be paid more for doing the same job. But the marketplace doesn't reward sameness. It rewards growth, improvement, innovation. The question isn't how long have you been there, but how much have you grown since you've been there. Don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better. Don't wish for fewer problems. Wish for more skills. Don't wish for less challenge. Wish for more wisdom. That's what continuous learning gives you. Start building your library. Attend seminars. Find mentors. Listen to educational content during your commute. Turn your car into a university on wheels. Guard your mind against negativity and feed it with ideas that empower you. One new idea can change your life. One strategy, one insight, one distinction can make the difference between staying where you are and moving to an entirely new level. I remember reading a book about financial independence that completely changed my thinking about money. Until then, I was working for money. After that, I learned how to make money work for me. That single shift in perspective, that one idea from one book, set me on a path to financial freedom. The third life-changing decision, choose your associations carefully. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. This isn't just a clever saying, it's a fact of life. Who you spend time with is who you become. Their habits, their thinking, their income levels, their attitudes gradually become yours through the power of influence. I've seen brilliant people stay stuck in mediocrity because they surrounded themselves with mediocre thinkers. I've seen average people rise to extraordinary heights because they associated with extraordinary performers. Look at your current relationships and ask, are these people pulling me up or pushing me down? Are they expanding my thinking or limiting it? Are they challenging me to grow or encouraging me to stay comfortable? Make a deliberate decision to associate up, not down. Seek the company of people who have what you want in character, in achievement, in mindset. Distance yourself from negative influences, even if they've been in your life for years. This might be the most difficult of the 5 decisions because it often requires uncomfortable changes in long-standing relationships. But I promise you this, nothing will impact your future more dramatically than the people you choose to spend your time with. You need 3 kinds of people in your life. Mentors who are ahead of you and can show you the way, peers who are alongside you for mutual support, and students who are behind you whom you can teach. Each relationship serves an important purpose in your growth. When I was starting out, I couldn't afford to pay for mentorship, so I offered to work for free just to be in the room with successful people. I made myself valuable to them so they would share their wisdom with me. I listened intently. I took copious notes. I applied what I learned immediately. Your environment will either inspire you or expire you. Choose wisely. The 4th life-changing decision, master your finances. Money isn't everything, but it affects everything. Financial stress can destroy marriages, health, peace of mind, and opportunities. Financial freedom can enhance all of these things. The decision to master your finances isn't about becoming obsessed with money. It's about creating a foundation that supports everything else in your life. There are only 4 things you can do with money: spend it, save it, invest it, or give it away. Master all 4. Spending less than you earn is the cornerstone of financial freedom. It doesn't matter how much you make. If you spend it all or more, you'll never be financially free. I learned this lesson when I was 25. I was making decent money for that time, $57.00 a week, but somehow I was still struggling financially. Mr. Schoaf asked me, "Jim, where does your money go?" I said, "Well, it just goes." He then gave me one of the most valuable pieces of advice I've ever received. He said, "Until you track every penny, you won't respect money. And if you don't respect it, it won't respect you." So I started keeping a small journal of everything I spent. The process was revealing and sometimes embarrassing. I discovered I was nickel and diming myself into financial difficulty. A coffee here, an impulse purchase there. Nothing seemed significant in the moment, but together they were draining my financial potential. Profit is better than wages. Wages make you a living. Profits make you a fortune. Most people focus solely on increasing their wages when they should be focusing on converting those wages into profits through intelligent saving and investing. I suggest saving at least 10% of every dollar you earn. Pay yourself first before any other expense. This isn't just about accumulating money. It's about developing discipline and delayed gratification, qualities that serve you in every area of life. Some of you might be thinking, "I can barely pay my bills now. How can I possibly save 10%? But that's backward thinking. The question isn't whether you can afford to save 10%, it's whether you can afford not to. Because if you don't pay yourself first now, you'll pay the price later with interest. Start small if you must, but start. Even 1% is better than nothing. Then increase it as you go. The habit is more important than the amount initially. Investing is how you put money to work for you instead of you working for money. Start small if necessary, but start. Let compound interest work its magic. Einstein called it the 8th wonder of the world. Most people work 40 years for a company and end up with little to show for it. But others work 40 years, invest consistently, and retire wealthy. Same time investment, dramatically different outcomes. The difference? Financial intelligence and disciplined execution. Giving is the most fulfilling use of money. It creates spiritual, emotional, and even financial returns. I found that money flows to those who use it to benefit others, not just themselves. Part of mastering your finances is continuing your financial education. Most people spend more time planning their vacation than planning their financial future. Reverse that. Learn about investing, tax strategies, and wealth building. When I was young, I thought financial freedom meant having enough money to buy whatever I wanted. Now I know it means something far more valuable. Having options, having time, having the ability to live life on your terms. The 5th and final life-changing decision: design your ideal life and pursue it relentlessly. Most people spend more time planning their weekends than designing their lives. They react to circumstances rather than creating them. They drift rather than sail. Making the decision to design your life means identifying what you truly want in every key area: health, relationships, career, finances, spiritual growth, contribution to others. Begin with the end in mind. Imagine yourself 5 years from now. What does your ideal life look like? Be specific. Write it down in vivid detail. This isn't a casual exercise. It's creating the blueprint for your future. I've found that clarity is power. Fuzzy goals produce fuzzy results. The more specific you can be about what you want, the more your subconscious mind can help you achieve it. Most people have vague notions like, "I want to be happy," or "I want to be successful." But what does that mean specifically to you? When I work with people on life design, I ask questions like, what time do you want to wake up? What does your ideal day look like? Who are you spending time with? What work are you doing? How much money are you earning and from what sources? How is your health? What skills have you mastered? What contribution are you making? These questions force specificity, and specificity creates clarity. Clarity creates power. Power creates results. Years ago, I sat down and designed my ideal life in detail. I described the home I wanted to live in, the work I wanted to do, the impact I wanted to have, the lifestyle I wanted to create. At the time, none of it was reality. Some people might have called it fantasy, but I called it a blueprint. Within 5 years, I had achieved 80% of what I had written. Not because I'm special, but because clarity coupled with consistent action is unstoppable. Once you have clarity about what you want, set specific goals to get there. Goals are dreams with deadlines. They convert your life design from fantasy to strategy. Goals must be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. I want to have more money is not a goal. I will increase my income to $100,000, 0 cents per year by December 31st through my business and investments is a goal. Write your goals down. There's something powerful about putting pen to paper. It signals to your mind this matters. These aren't just fleeting thoughts. These are commitments. Break those goals down into daily actions. What must you do today to move toward your 5-year vision? Excellence is not an act, but a habit. Your daily routine ultimately creates your life's outcome. The secret of your future is hidden in your daily routine. Small, consistent actions compound over time, just like interest in a bank account. Reading 10 pages of a good book every day means 3,650 pages per year. That's about 18 books. Saving $10, 0 cents per day is $3.65 per year. Small actions, massive results. Expect obstacles. They're not signs to quit. They're opportunities to grow. The path to any worthwhile goal is never a straight line. It's full of unexpected detours, setbacks, and challenges. Decide in advance that you'll persist regardless. I've never met a truly successful person who hasn't faced significant failure along the way. The difference is they made the decision to keep going when others quit. Your ideal life won't manifest by accident. It won't happen through hope or wish. It will happen through deliberate design and persistent action. These 5 decisions, taking responsibility, committing to continuous learning, choosing associations carefully, mastering finances, and designing your ideal life, create a compounding effect when implemented together. Each strengthens the others. Taking responsibility makes learning more effective. Learning improves your financial decisions. Better finances give you more options in designing your ideal life. The right associations support all of these areas. The great news is this: you don't need to wait 5 years to experience results. You'll begin seeing changes immediately when you make these decisions. Small wins will come quickly. Momentum will build. Confidence will grow. But the full transformation, that takes time. 5 years from now, you'll look back at this moment as the turning point when everything changed, when you decided to take control of your life's direction. Some of you are thinking, 5 years is a long time. But I want you to consider this. The next 5 years will pass whether you make these decisions or not. The only question is where you'll be when they do. Others might think, I've tried changing before and failed, but that was before. This is now. And now is all we have. Previous attempts don't determine future results unless you let them. Here's my challenge to you. Don't leave here today without making at least one of these 5 decisions. Start somewhere. Build momentum, then add another, then another. Don't wait for perfect conditions. They'll never come. Don't wait until you feel ready. Feelings follow actions, not the other way around. Don't wait for permission from others. It's your life, not theirs. 5 years from now, the person you become will be determined by the decisions you make and the actions you take beginning today. Not by your circumstances, not by the economy, not by what others do or don't do, but by your decisions. Make them count, make them matter, make them now. 5 years, 5 decisions, a new life. The opportunity is before you. The choice is yours.